Super good. Now let's work with the horn, all right? So here you'll start again with the magic ring, but this time we'll start a bit different because here you'll work 3 single crochet inside this magic ring. So we'll go again slow with this horn. So we work together here. Because it's a small detail, I like to show you more. I like to work together with you. 1, 2, 3. Now let's close this magic ring. Super good. And let's start working here our second round. Very nice. For the second round, you'll work 3 increases. So you'll make 2 single crochets inside each stitch here. So you should have 6 single crochet at the end. So this is the first increase, so 2 single crochet here. Second increase, so 2 more single crochet inside this one. And the third increase in the last stitch here. 2 single crochet inside this one. And you see here once again, this is curling. You see it's pulling to the outside because it's a lot of stitches one on top of each other. So let's organize this. Organize these stitches and continue for round number 3. So here you will work 2 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat 2 times, and you should have 8 stitches at the end of this round. So here 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and now the increase on this one here. So 1 and 2. All right, one more repetition. Here we have. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and now the increase in the final stitch here. 1 and 2 in the same stitch. Great, now we have 8 stitches here, and you will work the length here of this horn. And as you can see, I will grow this for around 4 to 7. I don't add how you call it, stitch marker, because it's very small detail. I think it's not helping, but this is free. It's up to you. I rather count and I know where I am. Anyways, I don't add the stitch marker here. All right, so once you finish here with your rounds, once you finish with the round number 7, this is how it should be looking like, and you add little bit of stuffing material, very little bit, not too much. All right, don't stuff too much so it's not a fat horn that you have. Cut the yarn and pull this to the inside of the horn so it's easier for you to sew it later. All right, now let's work the curls of this beautiful unicorn. So you change the color to whichever hair color you like, and you start with the slip knot, and you work 31 chains. Yes, let's go. 31 chains here. I will move a little bit faster because we will be here a lot counting 31 chains. Okay, super good. We have it here. So what's going to happen here is you jump the first chain and you start working on the next one. So how you're going to work here is you will work 3 single crochet in the same chain. So 1, 2, and 3. And then 2 single crochets, 1 in this chain and 1 on the next chain. Okay, so 3 single crochet in the same chain and then 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet. So one more time here, 3 single crochet in the same chain, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch. All right, repeat this 10 times or all the way until the end, and you'll see that it will start curling this, and I will come back here once I reach at the end of here. Super good. So here I'm on my last single crochet, right? And you have this beautiful curl. Super good. Now you will repeat the process. Very easy, right? So you chain again, 31 chains here. So let's go. Super good. And you'll start working the same thing. All right. Once you reach, you see, you did again 3 chains, 3 single crochet in the same chain, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet. You chain again, 31. We will make 3 curls, like 3 hair pieces here with 3 strings, and then you'll make more of them. All right, so this, we finished the first one. Let me organize here so you can see it better. Great. You see, this is how we have a line here with 3 strings. I will make a doll with this type of hair. I think it will be nice for you to see like a different way of adding hair pieces to a doll. Okay, now I'm just wandering around. Okay, now you cut the yarn, you leave a tail for sewing, and you see here, this is nice thread here. You see with 3 pieces. Yes, this is what I wanted to show you. Super good. Now for this unicorn, coming back to the unicorn, instead of dreaming of other ideas, I crocheted here one in a light pink. This curl it's undoing. Let me organize this one. So here I crochet one in pink and I crocheted another one in green. So this is optional to you. And you saw the unicorn I did in blue in the beginning of this video. So I did different shades of blue and white. So it was super nice. Okay, now let's work this beautiful big eyes of this chubby unicorn. You'll start with a magic ring and you'll work 8 single crochet in the magic ring. We want big eyes, big romantic eyes for this unicorn. Okay, so let me work here my 8 single crochet. One more. Okay, now you close tight, very tight, or it will be with a hole in the middle. And now here we will join with the slip stitch, but also changing the color. Okay, so here I insert my needle here and let's change the color. I will work with the same color I work for the beginning of the paws, so it will be matching the paws, okay, matching these beautiful legs of this unicorn. So I change here and now you work only in the back loop, all right? So you work 8 back loop slip stitch. And here you pay attention because the slip stitch, we tend to hold it very much and the tension of the slip stitch is very tight and this makes our details to shrink a little bit. So just pay attention here for your slip stitch to be with the same size as the stitch underneath it. All right, like this, and we'll join it here with a slip stitch. Lots of slip stitches here. Okay, so we have our first eye and we'll give some life later for this. So I will bring this tail to the back like I always do. And this will help, as I always say here, this will help to sew it later. Okay, super good. Like this one, of course, you make another one. Great. Now is the time for assembling this, all right? You see here, this is the central part. So we'll sew all the 4 legs around this central part. So let's choose here the best position. And here I use pins to fasten this paws, so the legs is not moving while we are sewing it. You add this in the sewing needle, all right? I'm using a tapestry needle here. And I will show you here, I will leave it being here a little bit to show you how I sew the details. So I grab 1 stitch from the body, you see. Don't be afraid of squeezing a lot your toy here. We'll squeeze it back once we're finished. 1 stitch from the leg. Okay, now you repeat 1 stitch from the body. Here, and 1 stitch here, 1 stitch from the leg. So you have 12 stitches in your leg, right? So you should do this process 12 times, okay? Grabbing 1 stitch from the chubby body and 1 stitch from the leg. Try not to skip and pay attention for you to take every stitch from the leg, because when you don't, you can't see, and then you maybe don't know like what is looking differently from your toy. It might be this. It might be when you're assembling, when you're sewing the pieces, when you're sewing the limbs, maybe one stitch is missing, you know. So try to count as you're counting when you're crocheting, count how many stitches you already sewed with the body, okay? Always like this, one stitch from the body, one stitch from the piece that you are sewing it. All right. So here you can see the stitches that I sewed already. Okay, now let's move on, and now we'll sew the rest of these legs here, and I will come back once I'm done. Okay, so these are the legs. You see here, spread the legs open, squeeze your toy. Don't be afraid of sewing it, you know. You can squeeze it back to its shape once you finished. All right, now we will do the same thing but with the snout. So here you see the yarn is already centered to the inside of the detail. And I will fasten this snout with a lot of pins because I don't like my pieces to be moving around while I'm sewing, and it's very easy for this to do. So as many pins that you fasten, it will make your life easier when you're sewing it. All right, and now you'll repeat the same process. And here you are crocheting. You see one round above the legs. Okay, so here again, you grab one stitch from the body and one stitch from the snout. And here, yes, I want to mention here, you will sew it all the way around. And you leave it a little bit open at the end. I will show you this to you later. So you add stuffing material. Don't add stuffing now because it will be bothering you a lot while you're sewing. So here, one stitch from the body. So here, count how many stitches you're sewing. So you match the amount of stitch from your snout and the amount of stitches that you were sewing. Now let's go up. Here, the exact position of where I'm sewing everything is in the written pattern. You can find it in the description below. Okay, I add all the position of each and every round that I sew the limbs together, so you know the exact position. If you want to count how many rounds when I started, how many rounds it takes from the length of the snout, how many rounds it took, everything, it's in the written pattern. Okay, here because I'm shooting while I'm sewing it, I'm just going with the flow where it looks nice for me. Here you can see, all right, the opening space. I will sew it all the way until here, and then I will add stuffing material. Okay, now you can see it here. Add just a little bit of stuffing material. You don't need to add too much here on the snout of this Chubby Unicorn. And then once you finish, you continue sewing this detail. All right, so here, let me just remove. There is some stuffing material going outside. And then we'll continue sewing this, and then we'll come back here once I'm done. We are almost done with this. One stitch from the body, one stitch from the detail. Super good. And this is how you should be working all the way until the end. Great. Well, so now looking good. It's kind of looking like a donkey. Okay, you see the center stitch here, so you count one or two rounds to one side, two rounds to the other one, and then you sew. This for sewing, this is much easier because you have only 5 stitches, right? So this is a piece of cake. I hope you enjoy sewing this. It's very easy. I should do a chubby donkey now looking at this unicorn. Okay, so first stitch here, one stitch from the body, second stitch here. I will remove this pin, it's not helping me that much. Now let's go up to the center, one stitch here from the body, super good. Now we're back again here, one stitch from our beautiful ear, super good. And here we only have 5 So you see, it's easier and it's moving a lot. This one stitch from the body. Pull it tight, tight, tight. Okay, let me move this. Okay, I will continue this off the camera. Okay, now to add the horn, you put here in the central part and add a lot of pins so it will not move while you're sewing it. And this is very easy and fast to sew because it's just 8 stitches, right? Again, it's moving too much. I did not fasten very proper, but you can do it. Do fast really proper. Okay, but after the first one, you see now it's not gonna move that much. It's not too many stitches here. So always one stitch from the body, one stitch from the piece that you were sewing. One stitch from the body, and this one's going very, very easy. Super good. Stitch from the body. I'll leave it showing you a little bit here. All right. And once you finish, look at this. Oh, this is so cute. All right, now let's sew this eyes, this beautiful eyes here. You see, I fastened off these tails. I just gave a simple knot here because we will sew it here. It's not going to be seen. Now I will again fasten with pins. I will add 2 pins here, so I'll make sure that this is not moving while I'm sewing, because this is the worst one to erase and do it again. Okay, this one is a bit different that you're gonna sew it. So once again, you take 1 stitch from the body, but then instead of taking 1 stitch from the piece that you were sewing, you will work like this. Let me just finish here. Now you will bring the needle from down here, from the bottom here, going up to the detail. All right, so bring it up. Once you bring that up, you will bring the thread back to down here on the stitch next to it. All right, so on the next stitch, like this. Okay, so this is how you're gonna sew this detail. So now let's take 1 stitch from the body. I will repeat this so I make sure that you understand. This is there is a couple of ways of sewing pieces together and they give different effects, all right? So here you'll bring your yarn up to the stitch, okay? And then down to the stitch next to it. All right, and then you take 1 stitch from the body. This will make sure that the chains here, the slip stitch, is all the way around and showing very nice. It gives a nice effect around the eyes, okay? I should make a tutorial showing you the different ways of sewing pieces together. But I used a couple of them here. All right, I will finish this off. And this is how it should be looking like. Now I take a piece of white yarn. You secure the beginning of yarn here with a simple knot. And you bring this thread to the top right corner of these eyes. We're going to give a life to these eyes because right now it's looking like a black hole. There's no life in these eyes. It needs some life. It is a bit hard to... See, you just keep trying. Okay, so you insert the needle here between the color that you work for the eyes and the black part, okay? You pull it through. And now you're gonna make a line here, but I think it's too much on top. It needs to go a bit to the side. Yeah, so let's move this a little bit to the side of the eyes. It's off my frame. Okay, so like here, now you make a line here going to the center of this eyes, and then you bring the yarn to the side here, and you make a little contour. You see, so you have a nice effect of this big eyes. I like these eyes. It's a lot of stitches here, so the needle is a little bit harder to introduce, but it's okay. Let's pull this. Okay, slowly. And our first eye is ready. I will do the other one off the camera. And look at this. Look at this, super cute. Now there is a life. Okay, now let's start sewing these hair pieces together. And it's very easy, very, very easy here. You don't need to start to add too much. So you see, we're gonna make it in a straight line here. So we'll sew this one first and then the second one behind and behind. 1, 2, and 3. So you just need to sew these 3 pieces together. So just 1 stitch or 2. You don't need to, sew it too much here. It's also like to leave it flowing so you can move around this hair. So the first one I introduce here in the body. Now I take 1 piece of the hair. Super good. And then in the body again, I bring a little bit forward. Here you don't need to take 1 stitch from the body, 1 stitch from the, you just, sew in a spread way here, in a straight line. Okay, so the second one here and the third one. Okay, you see now for the other piece of hair, I will sew it 1 round under this one, but still on top of it. So all of them are in some straight line here together. So let me take this stitch here. Okay, so now I'll continue in the straight line here and do the same with the bow. Once you're done, look at this, how cute it is. Now let's just add some very fast, super easy tail. So you cut this thread and you add here. I added with just some pieces of the same color that I did the hair. You add here for the tail. All right, look at this, very nice. I'll just pull this through here. Super good. Ta-da! The tail is done. I'll just cut this. Let me see the length. Okay, this is good. Ta-da! Great. And look at this. We have a colorful tail. That's beautiful. All right. Let's comb this tail, very nice. Let's organize these curls. And you can move around, you can put it the way that you want, maybe put it this one up, to one side, other side. And that's it. I really hope you enjoyed this, my version of a chubby unicorn. And if you like, give me a like here in this video, and I will see you in the next pattern. See you, bye!